Good evening, everyone. Welcome in, Kit Nagy and Phil Nagy. Hopefully will be joining us later here on Nagy on Sports. He's getting us going here, but he's doing some packing for his upcoming trip. So I'll be doing everything here as welcome in as we're going to do an exhibition game. Got some Legends of Browns lore versus Legends of Dallas lore. So a little Browns AFC Legends versus NFC Legends from what many call America's team with the Cowboys. So should be a good game. Excited to see some stuff. And obviously with everything going on with the Browns right now, we didn't feel it was appropriate to continue with our sim season, especially with the uncertainty of what's going on at the quarterback position. So Phil is going to be taking his trip, and we'll see if the dust has settled by then and whether or not we can continue with our season. Anyway, without further ado, Browns are going to kick off to the Cowboys. Yes, this is a some Legends game, I should mention. Thanks for that, Phil. We for some reason, they don't have, you'd think with the Browns you could fill an entire roster with just Hall of Famers, and they don't have a number of Hall of Famers that probably should be on this roster, but there are some, big names here, so we're going to get to see. There's Dean Perry you got to see there briefly. We are in our 75th anniversary kits because they look awesome, but some current players that obviously are definitely amongst the best to ever play for the Browns, but there are a lot of Hall of Famers out there that probably got snubbed in this, so our apologies. This is not our roster. And that's true also for the Cowboys too. So just keep that in mind. Cowboys roster probably could have been some more legends in that roster also. So we'll keep that in mind. Down the field, nice open receiver there. I'm not sure who that was, but Staubach connects there for a nice pickup, and that was Irvin on the reception. Of course, it was Irvin. I should have known. Michael Irvin with a nice out route there, pretty deep, about 20 yards downfield, and gets some additional yards down the sideline as Staubach hits him in stride. Handoff there, that's Emmitt Smith, and he is going to get hit pretty quickly. Nice rush, though, for 12 yards. That hole opened up pretty well. And Emmitt Smith, a legendary running back for that franchise that was just a dynasty there for a while. He was really the workhorse behind those teams. Starbull with the ball. Throws it out to the outside. That's Emmitt Smith again. Not much gain there, but Starbull is now 3 for 3 on his attempts this drive. But that one's gonna lose him some yardage, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 13 as Myles Garrett was very quickly out there on the perimeter in pursuit. It's kind of interesting the lack of X factors and superstars on either side here with a Hall of Fame. So many Hall of Famers out here. You'd expect to see more of those, but there aren't. Apparently, this roster was not built with a lot of those. Jason Witten with the reception, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 4 for the Cowboys on the Browns 25. Starbo with the ball. Setting up a little screen. Emmitt Smith out to the outside. He's going to get that first down easily as he's brought down a few yards past. A couple of Browns defenders in on that tackle. Now 1st and 10. Starball hands the ball off to Emmitt Smith. Huge hole up the middle as he is easily going to get that first down. And now they're going to bring up a 1st and goal from the 5. Emmitt Smith really getting a lot done as Ward was in on that tackle. Under center, 2 tight ends. Handoff again goes to Smith. This time quickly closed is the hole as Michael Dean Perry in on that action. And, or actually, no, that was Jackson. My apologies. Hey Keith, welcome in. We're doing a little exhibition of Browns versus Cowboys legends, or at least some legends, as Phil would say. There are, a lot of snubs going on this roster. Again, and our apologies, not our roster here. We just grabbed one that had some, had legends. There's Dean Perry with his first tackle of the game. Brings up a 3rd and goal, as Myles Garrett was right in there as well. Hey George, welcome in. Go Browns. Actually, you were already here. I missed it. From the 3rd and goal. Pressure in his face. He lets go, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Cowboys. Nicely done there as Starbaugh finds his man kind of streaking across the back of the end zone there and puts a nice ball on him. You saw he had 2 receivers there, and actually Irvin probably had a better position, but Terrell Owens is going to catch that touchdown. And T.O. with the first score of the game here in our Legends Bowl between the Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. Nice throw from Starbaugh there. It's interesting he went to that second level. He actually had better coverage in the back there than they did on Irvin. You thought he probably had Irvin earlier and was also in the end zone waiting on the ball, but Starbaugh elects to go with the harder throw, but still comes away with that touchdown. Hey, 504, welcome in. Yeah, eating pizza, watching football, that's the way to do it, brother, right there. That's how it's done. And, since you're just joining us, this is an exhibition game. You're going to see a lot of legends as we're about to see the legendary Jim Brown here on offense for the Browns. But bear with us. This is not in franchise mode, so we're going to have these weird huddles in between kickoffs, which is unfortunate. You can't control those because of the way this game is set up. But yes, this is the Legends of the Browns, or at least some of the Legends of the Browns. As we see Josh Cribbs with that reception of the kickoff. But some of the Legends of the Browns versus some of the Legends for the Cowboys, we decided an exhibition game was probably a better spot, as we're going to see Otto Graham out here. He's throwing to Gordon, which I'm not so sure that Gordon is the best wide receiver to play for the Browns of all time. But hey, that's what whoever created this roster, that's what they thought. As Otto Graham is going to make his first completion there to Paul Warfield. Warfield with a nice catch across the middle, and Otto Graham just hits him right in stride. Very nicely done. So there are some Hall of Famers, obviously, on both sides of this game. I think that probably both of these teams could have created full Hall of Famer teams, which, I think a bunch of those kind of guys are getting snubbed. I'm sure there are better right tackles out there than Jack Conklin in Browns history. There is the legendary... Actually, no, that's Nick Chubb. That was Nick Chubb. Interesting they're not going with Jim Brown with the ball first. I would have thought Jim Brown would have been the workhorse to go. Not that Nick Chubb, nothing against Nick Chubb, he is great, but yeah, and yes, Keith, the soap opera in Cleveland is almost unbearable. That's why we're doing this right now. Too much going on. Really too much uncertainty. We pride ourselves in trying to bring you as much reality as we can on this channel. So really unfortunate for us that really we can't do that when something as big as the quarterback position is really up in the air again, which I don't think anybody really wanted. But here we are, and way too much drama in this whole soap opera, and not what we want to have. So we thought an exhibition game was a better way to go for now, especially since Phil's on his way. There's the legendary Jim Brown wearing my favorite number in sports, number 32. Unfortunately, he was out of bounds catching that one, so he's not going to get the first down there. It's going to bring up a 4th and 8, and the Browns are going to have to punt. But yeah, so that's why we brought this exhibition game, because he's going to take that trip. We're going to see whether or not, hopefully, the dust has settled a bit by then. All kinds of things could have happened. I mean, who knows? Matt Ryan may be the quarterback of the Browns by the time that Phil gets back. It could be anyone, or anything could happen by then. So that's kind of what we're hoping, is that we'll have a little bit more clarity while he's off on his trip, and then once he comes back, then we'll look to resume the season with a more realistic look at who it might actually be at quarterback. But quarterback is such a pivotal role, positional role for any team, that we felt it was not appropriate to continue forward without having the quarterback that you would expect. Dorsett with the carry there. he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, bringing up a 2nd and 12. And if you're just joining, Phil will probably or hopes to join us later. He is packing for his trip. That's why you've only got me on the mic right now, but welcome in. Glad to have you. And this is an exhibition of legends from both the Browns and the Cowboys. Yeah, Keith, actually, Matt Ryan, of the quarterbacks available, he's one of the guys that I would be good with. I mean, the savvy veteran. They talked about wanting an adult in the quarterback position. I'm not so sure that the way all of this was done from the ownership's perspective was the adult way to go about it. But on the other hand, Matt Ryan certainly would be that savvy veteran and a guy that could do good things for the Browns. So I'd be okay with that. And he could very well get moved, especially since it looks like every indication says that Deshaun's going to Atlanta now. Emmitt Smith with the carry brings up a 3rd and 2. Still a 7-0 game, 7 minutes here in the first. They got pretty good offense production here for Dallas. The defense for the Browns kind of giving up more than you would expect with some of these names out there. So we're going to see a tackle by Michael Dean Perry on Emmitt Smith, who does get the first down. Nice block shed, though, to make that tackle as Dean Perry makes a great move to get on the inside. Unfortunately, Emmitt Smith already had the first down by the time he had made contact. Starbaugh, a little fake to the left side and then dishes to the left and able to come up with his 8th completion to Witten. That's 8 for 8 now in the game. He is really having his way on throwing the ball here. And the Browns defense so far, the secondary doesn't really have an answer. The pressure hasn't really been getting there to Starbaugh, and then also the secondary allowing a lot of gaps there, and Starbaugh's taking advantage of those. Emmitt Smith, big hole up the middle, and he's going to easily get forward for, looks like another first action. No, he's going to get 9, so he'll be 2nd and 1, but a big gain. Again, this defense really porous in the middle so far in the run game. Hey, Kevin, welcome in. Go Browns. Glad to have you. Right now, you just have me. Phil's trying to pack for a trip, and we're doing an exhibition game of legends here as the legends from some of the legends from the Browns and some of the legends from the Cowboys go head-to-head here. So far, the Cowboys have had a better run of it, as Starbaugh has been absolutely on point. He has completed now 9 for 9 and really having his way against this defense. But the run game has been effective also for Emmitt Smith up the middle in particular. Smith with the ball again, as he's going to pick up more positive yards, gets about 4, and banks there on the tackle. So, hey Karen, welcome. Glad to have you. We got a little exhibition game here going on. Legends of the Browns versus Legends of the Cowboys. Again, with all the turmoil at the quarterback position, this is what we felt comfortable with doing, because we really can't replicate reality when you don't know what that reality is going to be, especially at a position as vital as the quarterback position. So we're going to hope that the dust settles a bit while Phil is away on his trip, which he is now packing for. Hopefully he's going to join us later in this broadcast, so it won't just be me bringing you the play-by-play, because I'm not nearly as good at that as Phil is. But we'll hope he comes back and joins us for the second part of this game. 3rd and 3 here for Dallas. Starbaugh with the ball, pressure in his face, setting up a screen, unable to connect, and that's his first incompletion on the day. Pressure was successful there, as Starbaugh had to kind of throw it into the dirt as Myles Garrett right in his face, and really not much he could do with that one. So good job on the defense here, holding the bend but don't break. Brings up a 4th and 3 and a field goal rather than a touchdown. That was compared to the last drive, a very successful stand there near the end. Yeah, Keith, you're absolutely right. The offenses got crazy, and then suddenly the defenses started getting crazy, as they've been fast and loose with those free agent dollars, and it's been an absolute arms race left and right in the AFC, but especially the West. The West has been just nutty, And what's crazy about it is all 4 teams are going for it. You wouldn't think that the Raiders would go for it, but the Raiders, considering that they seem the furthest away from being able to do anything with what they've got, and yet they're going for it too. Every indication is that they're not even going to consider a rebuild. They're going to try to go for it themselves. So you have to think they're still going to be 4th, but they're going for it just like everyone else. So it's absolutely wild to see some of the things that have happened in the AFC in particular. Almost makes you wish you were in the NFC, because you have a puncher's chance in the NFC, but in the AFC it is so competitive. Again, this is in exhibition mode, so we don't have the opportunity. We're going to have to watch those long huddles in between the touchdowns and the scores. But Autogram's going to hand it off. There's the legendary Jim Brown with his first carry of the game, and you would think Jim Brown should be carrying the ball well before 3 minutes in the first quarter, or a little less than 4 minutes left in the first quarter. He should have been carrying the ball a lot more than that. He's way too good to not have the ball in his hands more often, but he's going to pick up 4th, bring it up to 2nd and 6. Autogram with the snap, surveys the field, pressure in his face. He's just going to throw it away out to the outside. Jim Brown was in the area there in a little dump-off position, kind of done a little bit of a wheel route, but Autogram just wisely gets rid of it, brings up a 3rd and 6. Little I formation here. And again, Josh Gordon being on this team as one of the best of the Browns. We did not create this roster, so whoever seems to think that Josh Gordon is the best in terms of receivers that the Browns have to offer in their legendary history is sadly mistaken. Josh Gordon should not be on this team. In my opinion, not that he's not good. He was very, very good with the Browns, but he is not. He does not compare favorably to some of the Hall of Famers at that position that probably should have been on this roster. So, Dallas is going to take over the ball here, up 10-0, and Starbaugh is going to get another chance here in the first quarter to drive and put some more points on the board. Nice defense out on the perimeter there. That was a beautiful tackle, as Pearson is going to get wrapped up right on the perimeter, only getting 1 yard on the play. And John Johnson III in on our Legends squad. He's very, very good, but again, I'm not so sure that he, deserves to be on this particular roster as the best of the best. But, again, not our roster, and we're working with what we got. This was kind of a last-minute thing we threw together. And I'm sure the same can be true is probably true for Dallas. I'm sure there are a number of snubs on that roster also that probably should be in this game that are not. 3rd and 6. Defense needs to stand here. Myles Garrett making some pressure, but ball is going to be complete, and it looks like he's got that. Yeah, in fact, he does have that first down. Starbaugh now 11 for 12. He is having quite a day. Greg Newsome here on the tackle. And again, he's a great corner, but, he's a rookie. I would hesitate to be throwing Greg Newsome in on this roster. Sorry, I suppose he's not a rookie anymore. He's only had the one rookie season, though. So, he has yet to show that he belongs in the company of players like that man there and Jim Brown and some of the other true legends. There are Hall of Famers that probably should have been on this roster prior to some of the guys that are out here. So we do have some really good ones. It's Emmitt Smith. Wow, what a run up the middle there. He just found a seam and just exploited it, and he took three hits there. What is Billings doing on this roster? Are you kidding me? Yikes. Zero business being on the roster for the Browns. Hey, Wendell, welcome in. Little handoff up the middle is what a shot. Tony Dorsett is going to get just walloped there. That was Ward who just laid him out. Nice hit. Oh man, Karen. Phil and I have talked about this a lot. It's drama we didn't need. It sounds from every indication that Baker had done some of the burning of the bridges, but the way that the Browns went about it, I'm not very happy with that either. That seemed impulsive to me, going out to meet with Deshaun Watson. That felt like something that Jimmy Haslam probably cooked up. It felt very similar to me to some of the things that have happened in his history, kind of like, a la Manziel and some of the others that have been courted from the ownership. I struggle with that, especially since, you knew that you had to know that was going to burn the bridge with Baker Mayfield. Now, am I fond of the way that Baker has chosen to respond to all this? No, but on the other hand, especially in light of, what he said to Duke Johnson or how upset he was with Duke Johnson when he did, much the same thing. But on the other hand, I understand it's a business. I understand that there's, it's not often you get an opportunity to have a shot at a guy that is considered a top 5, quarterback in the league with really being in his prime, really at the start of his prime even. So no, I understand kind of why it happened. I don't love the way it went down. I don't love the drama that's ensued. I don't love the fact that if you're going to go for it, you need to make sure you can close the deal. And you have to know with a guy like Deshaun Watson, there was no way he was coming to Cleveland. It's not in a dome. It's cold. It's north. It's just about everything that Deshaun Watson was not going to be about. As Starbaugh here is set up second and goal here on the 3. Looks like they're all set up to potentially score again. But yeah, it's not something I'm excited about. I'm a little it's been a rough time to be a Browns fan, I think for pretty much everybody. And then have to see what happens here. We talked a little earlier on the channel as a very easy touchdown there on the inside slant. That was Michael Irvin there on the slant, and Starbaugh hit him in stride much too easily. As Dallas is now going to go up 17-0. But no, I'm frustrated, I would say, is how I'd respond to that. I don't like any of how it's gone down. I don't know what it means for the Browns. I don't like being on a quarterback carousel, which seems we're right back to that potentially. Now there is some potential we could get a Matt Ryan. But there's, I don't think this was something that was really necessary, and we kind of did it to ourselves. But on the other hand, maybe this means that we'll be, in a position to draft a guy like C.J. Stroud, or something like that. So I don't know. It's not ideal. Not what I want. I don't think it's what many Browns fans wanted. And I think there's a lot of conflicting feelings all around the whole thing. So it's unfortunate, but it's also the way the business works sometimes, and that's it's kind of a point of fact. We had a window there with Baker. We weren't able to capitalize for all kinds of different reasons. We had a really good run in 2020, but unfortunately that was nothing more than a really good run. It wasn't what ultimately what any Browns fan or anybody in the organization wanted. Because we didn't get to the end goal, which is to win the Super Bowl. So, hand off to the legend Jim Brown as he pushes people out of his way, and he was known for that. He was known for just being so hard to bring down. He looked like a man amongst boys out there in his career. And man, do I love that number! It looks so good in brown and orange. 32, best number in sports. Yeah, Keith, I agree. I think we probably are going to take a big step backwards. Unfortunately, it's going to be a rough season for us, but it does mean that probably comes with high draft draft capital for the Browns, which in terms of what we've had in the past in the decision-making positions versus what we have now, that bodes very well for us, because if there's one thing I've learned in all of this, Andrew Berry and his drafting skills as well as free agency and everything else, he's one of the best in the business. And if we have to go through a rough season to give that man some draft capital to play with, we could be very fortunate for it, because he's a guy that can put together a winning roster. I'm very confident of that. Fortunately, the Browns drive again going to go nowhere. This offense is really struggling, even with some of those legends out there. Jim Brown really having a hard time getting going, and they're really not going to do much of anything here. Again, they're going to need to pick it up and in a hurry if they're going to have the success we're hoping for here against these Cowboys. And yes, this is Wendell. This is a Legends, Browns versus Cowboys Legends game. We decided to do an exhibition with all the drama around the quarterback position with the Browns. We didn't feel it was right to continue with our sim season without knowing who the quarterback's going to be. So Phil's about to depart on a vacation, and he's actually packing for that right now. He may join us later in the broadcast and take over for the play-by-play here. But this is an exhibition of the legends for the Browns. You'll see Jim Brown out there. You see Starball's out there right now. He's had a great game. Emmitt Smith is out there. There's legends on both sides for both Dallas and the Browns. But as I've mentioned a couple of times, there's folks on both rosters that I'm pretty confident have no business being out there. I'm pretty sure you can create an entire roster, a full starting 11 on both sides of the ball for the Browns with just Hall of Famers. And there are players out there like Josh Gordon and Andrew Billings and some others that have zero business, in my opinion, being on this roster, especially with some of the legends that probably should have been out there and have been snubbed. We did not create this roster. This is just one that we downloaded real quick because we kind of threw this plan together last minute. I wasn't even sure we were going to be able to bring this broadcast today because of Phil's busy schedule, and then also I'm in the midst of a move, so I'm in the new house now, and I've fully transported my rig and setup over here, so there was some doubt whether I was even going to be ready to do this one. But I did get my internet in today, and we're bringing it to you live with this exhibition game that we kind of threw together, again, because we were not comfortable with all the Baker and quarterback drama surrounding the Browns and who will be the Browns quarterback going forward, and nobody really knows that right now. So we were hoping that, while Phil's on vacation, that potentially some of the dust will have settled and we'll have a more clarity as to what the future may hold for the Browns, so that we can bring that reality, which is something that we strive to do here on the channel. And when it comes to being the quarterback position and how much impact that has on a roster, it didn't feel right to bring you the season, continue with a quarterback that may or may not even play for the Browns. Hopefully that answers your question there, Wendell. And yeah, Stroud would be an awesome pickup for these Browns. I would love that, Keith. I think that would be, if we are in a position to draft him, and AB makes that happen, that would be something that would make all of this, drama and heartache. I wouldn't say worthwhile necessarily, but at least more tolerable. Be a little bit of a, you have a bright future for the pain that you went through now to get there. Emmitt Smith is going to get stopped behind the line of scrimmage on that one. That was a rare TFL. The Browns have been struggling on defense, so good to see them there in the backfield, creating some pressure in the run game. A little bit surprising, though, how porous this defensive secondary for the Browns have been. Has a huge hole up the middle on the draw. As Tony Dorsett is going to take advantage of that, and he's going to pick up 7 very quickly. And the Browns did not see that one coming. Third and 3 here for the Browns, for the Dallas Cowboys. And the Browns really need a stop here. They've got to get back in this one. Setting up a screen, tornado set out to the outside. He's just going to get the line to gain there, as the defense was not able to respond in time to prevent him from getting across the line. Starball under center. Wide receiver split right, single back. He hands it off to the single back. That's Emmitt Smith. And he's going to get tackled very quickly. That was Banks on the tackle. Now in the gun, Starbaugh takes it in 2nd and 8. Gets that snap, throws it out to the outside. The man's covered. That probably should have been picked, as Starbaugh throws just his 2nd incompletion of the game. And he's been very, very good for this Dallas offense. Finally, the Browns getting some defensive success there in the secondary. That's probably their first positive play in the secondary for this game, which is, a bit surprising with some of the folks they have back there. 3rd and 8. All kinds of time here for Starbaugh. You can't give him this kind of time. Myles Garrett can't get anything done, but he's finally going to just throw it away. There's the second good play there for the secondary, as that was effectively all coverage that forced that throw away. They had their men covered for a long time. Starbaugh not able to find any targets. The field goal is up, and it is good. It brings up score 20-0. The Browns, now with 6 minutes in the first half, really need an answer on this drive. They can't afford to go 3 and out again, as this offense has been struggling, and the defense is clearly tired, as they're just getting beat up by the legends from Dallas. Yeah, no. So Wendell, unfortunately, this is not our roster. So I'm very sure that there are folks that have been snubbed here that deserve to be on this roster. I haven't seen Luke Rosa out there. He should be out there for sure. There are Hall of Famers left and right for the Browns that are just not even on this roster. If we had time to dig around and find a roster that had more of the Hall of Famers you might expect. But there are guys on this roster that have no business being on it, like Andrew Billings. I have no idea why he's even on this roster at all. There's Josh Gordon. I don't believe he belongs on this roster. They've got the Browns have more than 4 Hall of Fame wide receivers in their history. So why on earth is Josh Gordon even in the conversation? Because Josh Gordon, by no means, yes, he had one really good season for the Browns, but he by no means will be a Hall of Famer, and nor does he deserve to be, even if he had stayed at that level of output for his entire career. I don't feel he would deserve to be on the roster with some of the guys that should be out here. Andrew Billings was a D tackle that we had signed to a 1-year deal out of Cincinnati. I think probably because they created this roster out of a current roster, which there's Hooper right there. Hooper has no business being on this roster either. So they probably took the current roster and then took some of the ones, some of the legends they knew and created those players. But they left off a ton of guys. Like that shouldn't have been Hooper. That should have been the Oz. I mean, there's no question. Otto Graham is going to get picked real bad. That was ugly. Newman is going to come away with that pick, but yikes, that was a terrible throw. Not sure what was going on there. But, Leroy Kelly, Paul Warfield. I mean, there's all kinds of names out here that should be on this roster and just aren't. I mean, some of the current day players maybe that deserve to be there. I could buy Myles Garrett. I mean, he's on a trajectory to be in the Hall of Fame potentially if he continues doing what he's doing. But there are guys that are just absolute legends of football that are are synonymous with football in the Hall of Fame that are just not even on the field Yeah, Hooper it does not belong on this roster when you've got a guy like Ozzie Newsome that should be out there. I mean, that's like, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, that guy made the Hall of Fame, both as a player and as a front office exec. I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't be out on this field for the Browns, and Hooper should be your tight end one here. Yeah, Warfield is out there. So Wendell, actually, we got Otto Graham out there over Brian Sipe versus Bernie Kosar, and that one I actually agree with. Otto Graham was one of the best quarterbacks ever to strap it up. So, so both Sipe and Bernie Kosar were very good players, but I don't think either of them truly compare to what Otto Graham did in his career. Yep, the Pruitts. Yeah, there are a lot of names. Like I said, there are some really good players out there, don't get me wrong, on both sides for both Dallas and the Browns, but there's a lot of snubs going on here too that are just really unfortunate. Missing some players that certainly should be out there. But again, we didn't create this roster. Yeah, no, I haven't seen Clay Matthews at all, and he certainly deserves to be out here. I know he's not in the Hall of Fame, but many believe he should be, and has been repeatedly snubbed, and mostly for the fact that the guy just refuses to go to bat for himself, because he's content to leave what happened on the field out on the field. One of the most selfless players ever to play in the NFL. But what a workhorse, and what a monster, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for what he did for the Browns year in and year out, and many less deserving guys have made it into the Hall of Fame than Clay Matthews, certainly. But yes, we don't have the kicker. The kicker should be Lou Groza, my opinion, Keith. But I haven't seen Groza at all. He's not playing tackle or kicker. A lot of folks that should probably, and this is for both teams, both Dallas and the Browns. It's not just the Browns that are lacking some of their legends that ought to be out here on the field. But yeah, again, not our roster. We took the first one we found that had a decent number of downloads, and because we kind of threw this plan together last minute for the turmoil that's going on with the Browns, and since we didn't want to bring an unknown quarterback situation into Nagy on Sports, we decided to go with these legends, as Otto Graham does not miss like that. He's 2 for 9 now. Bit of interesting that he is playing so poorly here. Otto Graham was an incredibly accurate quarterback. Yeah, Hank Minifield, Hanford Dixon. I mean, there's so many names for the Browns. Like I said, you could create an entire 22-man roster, both sides of the ball. His deep ball down the sideline. Otto Graham finally connects deep. That was a beautiful ball. Beautiful ball, just hits him right in stride. What a throw there from Otto Graham, and he definitely, that was Josh Gordon on the reception, but caught Josh Gordon on the perimeter with a step. Again, Josh Gordon, probably not a player who deserves to be out here, but he was able to get something done there, and Otto Graham able to connect. I haven't seen Too Tall Jones out there. Doesn't mean he isn't, but I haven't seen him yet. Deep ball here, and there's a flag. It may have been a late hit. Yep, roughing the passer. So that's going to give the Browns a first down here, as Otto Graham was roughed on the pass. Yeah, a lot of rumors out there for sure, Wendell. Interesting. It'll be interesting when this all settles to see, what it was all about, or try to get a sense of what it was all about after the facts. But A lot of rumors right now, that's for sure. Big sack up the middle, and Otto Graham takes a pretty big hit there from Leighton Vander Esch. Brings up a 2nd and 19. Browns have got to answer here, down 23. Minute 21 left, and that's not the way you need it to happen. And again, Joe Thomas is off on the left tackle, and that makes sense. That guy is a Hall of Famer, but Jack Conklin, the right tackle on a team like this that should have Lou Groza out there or any number of other guys that were awfully good. I mean, Doug Deacon should be out there before Jack Conklin. So there's a number of guys that I'm not so sure that deserve to be on this roster, but I can't account for whoever it was that created it either. So Keith, right now, Phil is taking a vacation. I want to say it's 2 weeks. I'm not entirely sure. He'll have to answer that question as far as how long this vacation is he's taken. But he's out on vacation. In fact, that's what he's doing right now is he is packing, and there's OBJ, yet another player that probably doesn't deserve to be on the Legends roster for the Browns, bringing up a 4th and 23. But yeah, he's heading out on vacation. So yes, the plan for right now is he's going to go out on vacation, so we won't be streaming for a little while. We're going to let the dust settle a bit, so that's why we're bringing this exhibition game, so that we have some content. I may be, if I have time with everything going on, I'm in the midst of a move, but if I've got time, I may put a free agency recap video out there on the channel, and maybe potentially some other things if I've got time to get those done. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a downtime here for the channel. We'll wait for some clarity at the quarterback position, and then when Phil comes back from vacation, hopefully we'll have that, and then we'll go out and get back to what we do, and continue with the season, hopefully with that clarity as to who the quarterback will be for the Browns going forward. Yeah, Doug Deacon. I just mentioned him, Wendell. I absolutely think he probably should be out here over some of the guys they have in this in that O-line. No, I don't think they haven't cut Teller. Not that I know of. I certainly hope they don't, because Teller's a mauler, and I would hate to see him go. And yes, Wendell, absolutely, you're right. Go back and watch the film on Otto Graham. He was incredibly mobile and very hard to hit. It's part of what made him so good. But he was also incredibly accurate with the ball. He was one of the first true, back in an era where you really didn't throw the ball, he was one of the first truly accurate and dangerous with his arm quarterbacks in the NFL. He really broke the mold from what everyone else was doing at the time. So part of the reason they were so successful was because of Otto Graham and what he brought to that team in terms of his arm talent and his ability to avoid the pressure. He was truly legendary. So at least they got that one right, having Otto Graham out there for the Browns. Start with the ball. Surveys it, dumps it out to the outside to Emmitt Smith, and I believe that was the Cowboys calling a timeout because he was tackled inbounds, and it looks like they're trying to score here with 40 seconds left in the half, 3rd and 1. One timeout remaining for Dallas with 2 for Cleveland. Yes, they did release Hooper. No, not Teller. Treader got cut. The center got cut, not our right guard Teller. Treader, however, did get cut. The veteran center who used to play for Green Bay, we had picked up in free agency 3 seasons ago, 4 seasons ago. Very good center for us, but they had a succession plan in place for him with Nick Harris, and that kind of was you had to assume that one was coming. But I think they love what they have in Teller. He fits the scheme so well. I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon because he is such a mobile and the mauler type lineman. So no, I think Teller is still on the roster. Tretter, however, has been cut. The NFLPA president, J.C. Tretter. Starbound to pass, easy slant. That's twice now in the game as the Browns defense just woeful here on their attempt to prevent that. Really, that's something you look for there on the goal line. You shouldn't be giving those up. That's much, much too easy with the soft zone in the back and Pearson able to come up with an easy touchdown for these Dallas Cowboys. And yes, Keith, absolutely. Callahan does love what Nick Harris brings to the table. Yeah, he's a little bit shorter of stature than you're used to at a center position. But, look at what he did. I mean, yes, Callahan does love him for good reason. He's a bit shorter. He's very mobile, but he's got good leverage because he can get under guys' pads because of that lower stature. And then he's very good with his feet. And, you look at what he did in relief. Coming in for J.C. Tretter on that Packers game in December when J.C. Tretter missed his first and only game as a Brown because of COVID. But Nick Harris came in and didn't allow a single pressure in that entire game against a very good defensive line. So very, very good on him. I think that game in particular was the game that gave the Browns the confidence that their succession plan had succeeded as they intended and that Nick Harris was ready to take over as the starting center for the Browns. Yeah, Samuel, we absolutely are. Welcome in. Unfortunately, our legends are getting crushed by Dallas's legends, and whoever created these rosters, obviously I'm not so confident in their understanding of how good some of these players were because they were awfully good, and yet there are many snubs out here. We should have Ozzie Newsome as tight end 1. I mean, we've already talked about a bunch of the other. Doug Deacon should probably be out there. Lou Groza should be out there. We've got all kinds of folks that aren't even on the field for the Browns that are Hall of Famers that or should be Hall of Famers, like we talked about earlier with Clay Matthews. So a lot of folks getting snubbed here for, and that's true for Dallas as well. But Dallas is absolutely killing the Browns here, as the Browns have just struggled. Our legends have just struggled to get anything going on offense, and the defense has been out on the field a lot. Hey, welcome in, Brownie Elf. Good to see you. Yeah, yes, Keith. I was really glad to see Zadarius Smith not sign with the Ravens and back out on that deal. Not only because it means that he's still potentially available for the Browns, because I'd love to have him. I think he'd be great in the Browns system. He would be awesome against opposite Myles Garrett. But also because it means we won't be facing him 2 times a year again, because I didn't like him when he was there before, and I certainly don't want him back there again. Hand off to Jim Brown up the middle. And he is only going to get 2 yards, unfortunately. Bringing up 3rd and 8. Yes, Otto Graham, Brownie Elf. It's Otto Graham for the Browns. He has struggled in this game, which... Not like Otto Graham at all, but he does connect there. He's now 5 for 13, 88 yards and an interception. Oh, there's Ozzie Newsome. He is out there. I don't know why you hadn't seen the ball yet, unless I missed it. But you would expect Ozzie Newsome to be a lot more involved in a game like this. Brings up the first down, and another sack. And again, there's Deion Sanders on that sack, but again, it's been mentioned, Otto Graham was an incredibly mobile quarterback, very good at avoiding pressure, and he has just taken sack after sack in this one. They're not giving him his due in terms of what he was able to do with the ball in his hands and avoiding pressure. And no, I agree, Wendell. Much like Nick Chubb, one player did not bring down Jim Brown. He was almost impossible to bring down. The guy, he played like a man amongst boys. He ran like a man amongst boys in terms of he looked so much faster than everybody else. Just a very fluid gait. And he was so hard to bring down. Just, you couldn't arm tackle him. You couldn't, run into him and hope. It was like you had to gang tackle the guy to have any chance of bringing him down, as Otto Graham is going to throw yet another pick. Yuck. And that one on Minifield, as Sanders comes away with that ball. And just really poor technique from Otto Graham, just heaving up a hope and a prayer. Don't like that at all. As Warfield unable to, I said Minifield, I meant Warfield. Warfield not in a position to make the reception, but Deion Sanders was. Quick outside pass, that is Terrell Owens on the reception. And the Browns, as you see, even that stat right there, giving up way too many passing yardage. 357 total yards, 280 of those in the air. That's gross. Yes, Deion Sanders. That's exactly who that was. Yeah, you're right, Brownie Elf. He really was. Before the Super Bowl era, he was absolutely the GOAT. That Tom Brady is now. He won more championships than anybody else. In fact, in the league the Browns were in prior to joining the NFL. They won all 4 years with Otto Graham at the helm. They won all 4 years in a row of that league's existence. All 4 championships, and he was a big part of that. Because he was just so good, and they continued to win championships. Once he joined, he and the Browns joined the NFL. He was just that good. In fact, the very first they joined the NFL, and the Browns can go straight in and win a championship. So Otto Graham was a huge part of that, and I don't think anybody back then gave him a lot of credit for being as good as he was. They thought the competition was lesser in that league, the American Football League, I think, or something along that. I don't remember what it was called, but a lot of folks thought that was not as good as the NFL at the time, and the Browns came and showed them that was not the case at all, as Otto Graham was a big part of those wins and those teams. So finally, the defense is going to force, a punt there and give the ball over to the offense. The Browns have got to get something going. 30-3. This is woof. This is gross. Otto Graham under center, hands the ball off, and legendary Jim Brown, number 32, unable to get much going. Only 3 yards on that carry. And again, like Wendell says, that man should not be going down at first contact. He was way better than this.
All right. I'm in. Can you hear me, Kit?
I got you. You got it. As the Browns are struggling mightily.
Yes, I can see that.
The disrespect.
Browns are
yeah.
getting the same respect as the new school Browns.
Yeah. The disrespect for the Browns is atrocious. I've been mortified by how badly the Browns legends have been disrespected in this game. Otto Graham is getting pummeled. They don't have several of the offensive linemen that should be out there. There's no Lou Groza. There's no Doug Deacon. I mean, all kinds of names that should be out on the field that aren't. And then Otto Graham is getting
Gene Hickerson.
Yeah, Otto Graham has gotten picked off twice, and and it's been just ugly as the Dallas Cowboys legends have been, probably rated fairly, and the Browns are clearly not. As Otto Graham is just not scrambling at all, and that was a lot of what he was known for, and not nearly as accurate as he should be.
Yeah.
And somehow Austin Hooper's out on the field. And you're like, no.
And your third, that's what I told you, and the third tight end is Stephen Carlson.
Yeah, Billings is on the squad. We've seen Andrew Billings out on the field a couple times. Yeah.
Sure. I would say if there's been good reception to it, I will be happy to go in and finish editing the Browns squad. But I'm certainly not going to do everybody's.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. The disrespect for Jim Brown alone has been unbelievable. I mean, he's getting single tackler taken down at like not even great tackles. It's been embarrassing how bad the representation of Jim Brown has been. In fact, Nick Chubb has looked better than Jim Brown in this game, as even though he's only carried the ball a couple times.
Gotcha.
So, but then again, they also didn't turn on any superstars or any X factors for any of the legends either. So.
Yeah, I noticed that too because they're probably just changing like random backups from every team.
Yeah.
Because if you go in and look, it's like, oh, he's in his third year from this college. Like, oh, they probably just changed Blake Hance to Joe Thomas. That kind of stuff. All right. Well, I apologize for that, everybody. I'd hoped it would be a little bit more exciting than that. I also cannot update my
there's Jim Brown.
YouTube, though. It looks like we're going to get a little screen pass. There he is. Takes it down to the 1. My Discord won't update on my computer, so I'm watching and talking via my phone.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a little bit delayed, like you weren't watching it, because that actually was a good play for Jim Brown finally.
I watched it, but I was trying to figure out how much to delay it, like to try to line it back up. My phone is choking on the video, so I'm just like using my phone to connect with you.
Got it.
I'll try it one more time, but I couldn't open Discord on. I couldn't open Discord on my computer. It was like update failed. It's like what? You have to give me another option than just update failed. Touchdown! That's when I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it at the right time.
I don't know how far ahead.
No, you're on.
Okay. All right. So I'll just call it a split second after I actually see it here.
Yes, Sean. Deion Sanders did in fact have an interception in this game. He went up over Warfield for it on an awful ball from Otto Graham that was just poorly thrown with poor technique, as he just threw a kind of a Hail Mary up there, and Deion Sanders went up to get it, and Warfield wasn't really in a good position for it.
The classic exhibition mode, 1 minute before each kickoff.
Right. So this.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me at least pull up the YouTube. I would say let me at least pull up the YouTube so I can see the other people chatting. So did we solve all the Browns' problems while I was away?
No. No. We discussed kind of what this was and where we're going on the channel, and I wasn't sure to tell him. I couldn't remember how long is your trip for?
2 weeks. So
yeah, that's what I thought.
Tomorrow,
2 weeks.
Yeah, from tomorrow for 2. I'll fly home on April Fool's Day.
Cool. So there you go. 2 weeks for the vacay, and that we're hoping that 2 week period will be enough for the dust to settle, and we'll have some clarity as to what the Browns' future looks like going forward, so that we can bring it to you.
Yep. Hey Samuel, welcome on. It's been a while, and it is a very incomplete roster. Dante Lavelli. They're missing some pretty important. No offense to Josh Gordon, he did have a really, really good season. One season was really, really good. But
Yep, but he's no Hall of Famer, and you could make an entire roster of Browns Hall of Famers alone, let alone.
Well, at the very least, make sure that the Hall of Famers are on the roster.
Right. Yeah. Right. But you've got to. I'm pretty confident you could do a full 22 just Hall of Famers for the Browns.
I think we would have 15 in maybe. But yeah, here's Mike McCormick. Len Ford I saw out there. Clay Matthews I saw. Joe Thomas I saw. Gene Hickerson, offensive guard. No offense to Antonio.
Was Matthews out there? I hadn't seen him.
Yes, he's number 57. He's got the hair coming out the back.
Yeah, I missed him.
And DeQuell Jackson is not the best middle linebacker. I think it's right there, actually, 57.
Yeah, I see him.
TJ Ward is not the best safety.
No.
A lot of the defense needs work. Oh, the D line is pretty brutal. So,
Yeah.
like I said, if people are excited about this kind of thing, I'm happy to kind of take it and make it our own. And add, make a full Legends roster or whatever.
Yeah. There are certain players that need some serious boost. Like Jim Brown alone should be making some of these defenders look silly.
Well, and again, I think part of it is because for these Legends rosters, like most of these Legends are all rated 99. So it's sort of like when you rate them all 99, they may as well all be 75. I mean, there's no separation, so you really can't experience the guys who are supposed to be really good being really good.
The best of the best. Yep.
So yeah, I mean, maybe again, we'll see if there's general amount of interest in those kinds of things. We'll make it work. Oh yeah, Eric Turner for sure. 24 Hall of Famers, Sam. I thought it was a little lower than that, but you're right. There's no reason we shouldn't be doing that. As Joe Hayden tries to pick off Roger Staubach. Terrell Owens out there in coverage. Hey, we forced a punt. Here we go. Don't call it a comeback. Is Cribbs the kick returner? Man, Cribbs or Ice Cube or Eric Metcalf? Who do you want back there as your returner?
I mean, Cribbs was awfully good, but Metcalf was too. I don't know. Cribbs actually had more stats in a time that it was rare to see that consistent.
Sure.
I don't know.
Maybe we should make Cribbs. Eric Metcalf. Maybe we should make Eric Metcalf like our slot receiver.
Right. Well, that would be, yeah. I mean, that dude was. I mean, yeah, that dude was awesome. In a time where you didn't have like that H-back type player, he was well before his time. Because everybody was really kind of like set in a mold of this is the one position you play, but he was like you could put him anywhere on the field.
Yeah. There's a handoff to Jim Brown up the middle, and he'll be stuffed by Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch. Okay, 18 sounds a little better to me too, Sam. Maybe it was just like the other guys who played for the Browns, but they may not be in the Hall of Fame as Browns. Like Paul Warfield also played for the Dolphins, but he's in the Hall of Fame as a Brown.
Right.
I love that Peyton Hillis is the fullback, though. That's pretty boss.
That's wild.
How can you not put like Marion Motley in there as your fullback? I mean, come on. It's a nice block to get them a first down, though. All right, we're under 3 minutes to play here in our all-time exhibition. Appreciate everybody being on. Sorry again about the delay. I didn't feel right in the midst of the uncertainty of the last 3 days to just like keep simming games with just assuming that Baker will be the quarterback, because we can't really assume that anymore unless they pull something out of their bottoms. So
yeah, I think
hopefully there'll be a little bit more roster clarity over the next 2 weeks. And again, I'm not going to mimic every single move in the league. It's just impossible. Funny thing is they freaking traded Devontae Adams back to the Raiders. That was where we had him originally. We knew it was coming.
Yep.
But yeah, exactly.
I do believe
we should have an all offensive line in that are all Hall of Famers. You're exactly right.
Yeah, no, I mean there are. I mean, other than Joe Thomas, the rest of that line. Yeah, he will be. Yeah, no. Other than Joe Thomas, though, there is not a single lineman out here that should be on this roster.
It's Joe Thomas and the 2021 offensive line.
Right, and they're missing a good 6 guys that could be out there in place of those guys out there.
And Joe Bitonio very well.
Oh yeah, sure.
End up as one of the best all-time guards, but
sure.
For the purpose of this,
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like you said,
the guys that I was going to say, for the guys that already have a gold jacket versus a guy that is hopeful and may get a gold jacket. It's not like Joe Thomas where his is pretty well assured. Bitonio very well might get there, but there are guys that played for the Browns that quite literally have that gold jacket already.
Sam, I'm gonna probably say no on that. unless he goes in like as a contributor in terms of his leadership of the union through such unprecedented COVID years.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a fine player, but I don't think he's a Hall of Fame talent.
Agree. Yeah, no, not first play. I could see it possibly, again, like Phil said, for the NFLPA and his leadership, because he's done a remarkable job in that, especially for the fact that he's one of the, a guy that's what his major was, and that's what he cares about, and so he does a great job of it. But no, in terms of his actual play on the field, no, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Ivy League, right? Isn't he like Cornell or something?
Yeah. It is Ivy League. I think Cornell is right. That sounds right.
Yeah, Cornell sounds right to me. Roger Staubach. Troy Aikman getting no love here.
Yeah, no Troy Aikman. It's all. I guess he's the backup. But
he's the backup. We should have played it. We should have set it up to do preseason rules, so we got all the second tier guys in there.
Right. That's right.
Of course, for us, that's just going to be like Sheldrick Wedbrine and.
Right. It's been interesting. It's been interesting to see the difference, though, in Tony Dorsett versus Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith has been really good in this game, and Dorsett not bad, but not like Emmitt Smith has, which you kind of surprising there.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Emmitt Smith, he was great, but Dorsett was awfully good too.
Yeah. No, for sure. Again, it's good to be on. Appreciate everybody joining us. Phil Nagy, Kit Nagy on Sports. Thanks for joining us here for this sort of all-time legends exhibition between the Browns and the Cowboys here.
Yeah. Yeah, if we do this again, we'll probably do it our way, which will probably make a lot more sense.
May as well.
Yeah.
May as well. And again, I haven't scoured. I mean, there's thousands of. Ball comes out. It's picked up by the Browns on defense. Let's go. John Johnson III. The best strong safety we've ever had. Picks it up.
He's good. I don't know that he's that good, but he's good.
Yeah, not yet, at least. That's going to be the end of the third quarter. Browns with some work to do. So.
Oh, yes. Lots.
Phil Dawson is the kicker on this all-time roster, which it's got to be him or the toe, right?
I was going to say, I'd have to lean that way, especially for the fact that he's not even on the offensive line. To have Lou Groza, I mean, your Browns facility is literally on Lou Groza Avenue. Like, what are we doing here?
Yes.
Like, that guy was a legend.
Phil Dawson was great for sure.
Oh yeah, sure. Don't get me wrong. Phil Dawson was awesome, but the guy played two positions, and he's in the Hall. He could have been arguably in the Hall of Fame for either.
Yeah, maybe you just put him on the offensive line and call it a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, he at least should be out here. That's for sure. You can't create a roster of legends for the Browns and not include Lou Groza.
I agree.
The only two players I would say that would be more criminal to not include, because he's on your Mount Rushmore, right? The only two players that would be more criminal not to include would be Jim Brown and Otto Graham.
Yes. There's a deep left shot, and Otto Graham's going to overthrow Josh Gordon. Sorry, it just makes me chuckle that he's out here on this field.
Right,
he's wide receiver 1.
Yeah, he is. It's wild considering who you got to pick from that should be out there.
Oh my gosh!
But they did connect earlier in this game though. They hit a really nice deep bomb.
Graham's going to throw. He's going to get hit as he throws. It's going to wobble into coverage and tipped and then picked off by the Cowboys defense. Carl Harris? I don't know that name. C. Harris. Picked off again. Is that Graham's third pick?
That's his third, yeah. It's really ugly. Ezekiel Elliott's on this team? Interesting.
Yeah, he's the third running back behind Dorsett, and again, somebody was like, let's get the starters fixed, and then let's get get the backup, and if we don't have to make a guy great, let's keep Ezekiel Elliott. Oh man, Emmitt Smith at $121, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, I told you he's been tearing it up, especially up the middle. He now again, this D line is they don't have most of the guys you'd expect to be out there on that D line.
Yeah, you're literally starting Michael Dean Perry and Andrew Billing.
Right.
Yeah, there's Matthews at the top of the screen,
Yeah.
rushing the passer. They're
Yeah, I
kind of
see him.
lining up as an edge rusher there.
How is
And
he
they
so wide open?
Wendell, they do have Frank Minifield there, 31 is, but yeah, they're definitely missing Hanford Dixon, Darden, Ben Davis. Like I said, they're missing a lot of things. And if we had had more time, we would have done it right. But
Yep.
still
Again.
fun nonetheless. Still fun to chat with you guys. And yeah, there you go, Keith. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll do a who should start on the Browns. Maybe Kit can
Yeah, I like
facilitate
that.
that while I'm overseas. I love that. That's a great
It's a
idea,
cool
Keith.
idea.
So where do we go from here, people? Put it in the chat. Is it please Baker? We're sorry that Jimmy was ridiculous and ruined everything, and please come back. You're under contract. Or is it they're just saying, oh yeah, we're not trading him to try to drive the price up?
Honestly, I think that's the more likely of the two.
You think it's just over for sure, and they're just trying to figure out if they can weasel a first round pick out of somebody?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, that's probably the more likely scenario right now of what's going to happen, and it's just a question of who does that mean that our quarterback will be going forward, and, the list of guys that are possible, not one that I think any Browns fans are going to love. I think, your best bet is like a Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that's where
But
Sean goes.
yeah, well, no, I think that seems almost wrapped up that he's probably going home to play. I mean, he went out and sought a meeting with the Falcons as opposed to all the other ones that paid the entry fee to be even in the room. He went and got that meeting himself, so that speaks of interest on his part, and since he holds all the cards for the no trade clause, that says a lot right there. And if they're able to put together a package that Houston can abide with, then you'd have to think that, especially for the fact that it's an AFC to NFC trade, that's a very, very likely scenario. It makes everyone happy so long as they can meet the trade demand.
Absolutely. As he fires it into Michael Irvin, he's down to the 1 yard line. Cowboys ready to put this one to bed. Yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks, and we're just back to being that poverty franchise laughing stock of the league again.
Yep, certainly feels that way.
Because our owner is an idiot, didn't let the smart people do their jobs the smart way.
Yeah.
I strongly feel it in my bones that this was a Haslam thing.
Yep,
and
that's how I feel about it too.
And then he said, Andrew, I'm paying you millions of dollars. Go make this happen. Yep. Andrew Berry's like, this isn't a good idea. And he says, I don't care. I'm your boss.
Yep.
Go make it happen.
Yeah, but I will say, however,
fly back down and try to talk Baker back into it. We're so sorry. We messed up.
I will say the one silver lining potential out of all of this is that, for the fact that, who knows what this roster is. It really depends on the quarterback. You may really struggle in this upcoming season as a result. And should that be the case, if there has the one big difference now versus what we have had up until now as a once we return to the NFL, is that for once we have people in positions that make those kind of decisions in terms of roster moves, in terms of drafting, and in terms of roster creation in a way that is forward thinking and franchise building and championship roster building. We finally have something that I trust to do it right. So now you give Andrew Berry and his guys, draft capital like the Browns have had for forever and done nothing with. You hand them a little bit of draft capital like that and watch the fireworks go off, because I feel like that has all the potential to be, especially if maybe the answer is we managed to get a CJ Stroud or something and we can build around that. that's something I'd love to have Andrew Berry,
Yeah.
do his take his best shot at, because of everything he's done so far. He is firmly cemented and established his excellence in that role.
Sure. Yeah, the process of yet another rebuild with a rookie quarterback and, wasting prime years of Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett's careers.
Yeah. Sure.
Is hard to stomach, but I don't know. I didn't hear the interview. I don't know if it was on CBD when Segura was talking about he had some pretty inside information about a potential superstar quarterback coming over in a trade.
Yeah.
That nobody was talking about. Who was that? Josh Allen or something?
I don't know. Yeah, he mentioned that not today, but yesterday. I haven't listened to all of today's at all, but I did listen to yesterday's, and he mentioned it yesterday.
Some sort of secret. Yeah, I mean, and again, I am willing to sit back and say, we're not going to judge the offseason until they obviously play games next year. And again, they may have had a plan all along, and their plan was, hey, we're going to try to upgrade from Baker for XYZ reasons. And nice pass over the middle, Paul Warfield. He's got a first down inside the 30. And again, but it's just couldn't you have just done it a different way than this? And yeah, I get it. Deshaun Watson, you could say he's a top 8, top 6 talent or whatever if you want, And that's why for me it was if he was a free agent and if it was just about the money and we'll figure out how to deal with some of the off the feed stuff. It's not great, but it wasn't that. You were going to have to give up significant assets to make that happen. And so
which is why it didn't feel like AB at all. That felt like a directive from on top. Yeah.
My argument from the beginning was that a healthy Baker with all of the pieces that we would have had to give up, including number 13 this year, either Newsome or Ward, Kareem Hunt, other things that sounded like they were going to be involved in it, is better than Deshaun Watson minus all of those assets.
Right. Absolutely.
I didn't feel like it was that hard of a decision to me. And again, I don't think Jimmy G's an upgrade. Certainly don't think Fitzpatrick or Marcus Mariota or Andy Dalton.
Yep.
Even maybe Matt Ryan. He's certainly a different quarterback. I don't know if he's better per se.
Right. Well, and if it really is about, we've talked about this. If it really is about, him being an adult in the quarterback room, then what kind of example are we setting by doing this in the first place? I mean, that was a childish thing to go do in the first place.
Sure.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Which is why, it's a very much did not smell like anything Andrew Berry related, but it smelled very much like Haslam.
Oh yeah. Which was disappointing because I honestly had significant hope that we were past this, as the Browns are going to go for it on 4th and 30.
Incomplete. Tried to find Paul Warfield. Pretty good guy to go after on a 4th and 30, though.
Yep. And he was, near the sticks at least. He wasn't there, but probably would have been tackled short anyway.
And I definitely agree with that, Keith. I don't know what the heck he was doing in Pittsburgh other than saving his money and trying to stay out of federal prison, but he certainly didn't learn anything about the way to run a healthy franchise.
No.
Sit back and enjoy the ride, man. Stop interjecting yourself into this. I get it. You own the team. You can actually do that. That is your prerogative. But every time you do, you set us back, man.
Yep.
I really think we should take Johnny Manziel. Okay, well, we don't have him rated where we want. No. You're taking it. We need him. Okay, you're the check signer, know.
Yeah, it reminds me of draft day. I mean it's just like that. The guy
a little bit.
Just tries to run roughshod over your GM. And it's just like that. And funnily enough, it's the Cleveland Browns in draft day. Go figure.
Yes. Well, and there's the hotshot young quarterback, and then there's the veteran who's coming off an injury. Right?
Yeah. A lot of this rings so true. It's like watching that movie, except it's real life.
Yes. And
that
they're not
actually
gonna
happened.
fleece somebody for picks and then
Right? Yeah. No, that stuff doesn't ever happen. No, that's not real.
That won't happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No. I'd love it if that were to happen, but no, that's not going to happen.
We'll see. I mean, I still fully trust Andrew Barry. I just would feel a lot better if I knew he was actually still the one making decisions.
Right. Well, and that's what's concerning is now how much control is Haslam really going to take? Because obviously that was Haslam, and how much more is he going to insert himself? And then the other concern is how I'm not trying to say that this is going to happen, but it certainly makes me concerned that if Haslam feels he has to insert himself into this, how long is Andrew Barry's tenure going to be in Cleveland? Is he going to move on from Andrew Barry, which I would think would be an absolutely idiotic thing to do, but at the same time, I don't know that I'd put it past him after he just inserted himself in like this again.
Yeah, or if Andrew Barry seeks out other jobs and says
this is dumb,
I can go be a GM anywhere and not have this idiot breathing down my neck telling me how to do my job.
Right.
Yeah, Keith, it was definitely hard to see everybody embracing Deshaun. Well, it's about football, man. He's just better. And I was like, but yes, but sometimes it's more than just football.
Right.
And how many times did we, call him Ben Rapisberger?
Yep.
That was a real thing. That's part of who he is and his character. And again, he won enough that I think most Steeler fans didn't care. But, you want to be on the butt end of all of those jokes when you're trotting number 4 in there. And, again, part of their pitch with him was how they were going to rebuild his image. Like this was, I don't know. It just felt icky.
Yeah. It felt like we were exposing ourselves right back to the same just endless circus show and drama filled, cesspool that we had been stuck in for a solid 2 decades. I mean, there's no need to go back to that, and unfortunately, fortunately, I guess the Watson thing isn't going to happen because you want to put ourselves in that drama. Again, that would be the fastest way to do it and lose a bunch of our future potential in the process. All that mortgaging the future to do it, but then now we created a different drama by pursuing him. So even that touch is toxic, as we've already seen. So it's a little bit late. So the drama has ensued anyway. But I guess of the two, I'd rather be in this drama than our future has been mortgaged and we have quarterback drama for however long he would be playing for us.
No, I'm with you. 100%. 100%. So I guess, like you said, that until we find out that he's actually the one driving these things, and Andrew Barry I trust, and and the Browns are going to have to get better. The freaking AFC is murderer's row. They're going to go deep to Gordon. He's got it. 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Browns. Josh Gordon from Otto Graham.
Finally, something that looked like the Browns, minus the fact that Josh Gordon should have been on the receiving end of that. But hey, I'll certainly take it. Nice broken tackle at the end there too.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Yeah, but the AFC is quickly turning to murderer's row.
Oh yeah.
Do we have to play the AFC West this year? Is that our division?
I don't know.
I think it might be. Oh no, I think we're AFC East.
We're
AFC East.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is AFC East.
I think we still do. I think we may still play the Raiders, but that was a record alignment thing, not a division thing.
Right.
Which the Raiders clearly they're not screwing around either. Like, okay, let's go get Devontae Adams and pay him the most of any receiver ever.
Right.
And then they picked up Chandler Jones, right?
Yes, they
from Max Crosby.
Yep, they let Nassib go and
Ngakoue
go, or traded Ngakoue, right? But then now they have Chandler Jones and Max Crosby.
Yeah,
so that'll be nice. And the funny thing is, like we were just talking about that earlier on this broadcast, how the AFC West is nasty, but like what's crazy about it is all four teams are going for it, and you have to feel like the Raiders have zero shot at coming out anywhere but in fourth place, and yet they're going for it anyway. Like,
that's interesting.
As good as that defense is going to be, they're not going to stand up to the likes of the Chiefs and the Denver Broncos, and those guys are so stacked.
And the Chargers themselves, and it'll be one of those things like the AFC West or NFC West was a couple years ago, where 8-8 won the division because they just beat each other up.
Right.
I first thought that, Keith, when I saw the trade, I kind of laughed, like, oh man. But the reports are that he knew the whole time that Davante Adams wasn't coming back. And he does have like 17 and what do they have now? 17 and 19 or something like that. So, I mean, they could pretty easily come out of this first round with like Chris Olave and Jameson Williams or something like.
I was gonna say though, like with their track record
about that.
With their track record of how they've drafted with their high picks of late,
what they should do, I don't know. If they will
I mean, how funny would it be if they go in with 17 and 19 and they're drafting like another quarterback, or not that they're going to do that. That would be insane. But like they go get some defender somewhere. Just like, how mad would Rodgers be if they did that to him again?
Yeah, probably pretty mad. But he's going to be there because his dead cap number is $128 million. If he leaves this year.
Yeah.
Because that's where like, oh, maybe we could try to trade for Rodgers again. It's like, yeah, nobody would trade for him. Literally impossible to trade for him.
Yes, not happening.
Even as defunct as the Packers front office can be, they're not going to eat $128 million cap hit.
Yeah, no.
Cap hit.
No, they're not doing that. That's like, what was the cap's 208? I think this season.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so 128 mil. That's
for a guy who's not on your team.
That's
anymore.
like what 60% of your cap on a guy you don't even have. That would be insane.
Yeah, that's some baseball stuff right there.
Right.
They're still paying Bobby Bonilla.
Right. No, actually, that's Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, he's the fifth highest paid Reds player
on the Reds roster right now. Yeah.
Right now, yeah, fifth highest paid Red.
Which is wild. All right, mercifully, this one comes to an end. Browns get annihilated by Roger Staubach and his. Yeah, it looks like they changed. Like, look, the 6th-year player out of SMU, so it was probably Shane Buechele.
Yeah.
And then they just changed him. Let's see if we can figure out who Otto Graham was. 9th-year quarterback out of Houston. That was Case Keenum. They changed Case Keenum.
Oh no, Case Keenum becomes Otto Graham. Yikes!
Maybe that.
No wonder he sucked.
Is that more? Explain it. Jim Brown was Dearness Johnson. Look at that, USF, 2nd-year player out of USF.
Yeah, that's probably explains why he struggled also.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith. Even though they turned up his ratings, still don't know. We know that there's some internal coding that's definitely.
Yeah, we'd have to create some of these players probably from scratch to do it right, I guess.
Yeah, Gordon had a nice day though.
Yeah, he did. He was about the best Brown on the field amongst some real legends.
Which is an awesome troll job.
Yeah.
Michael Irvin had a pretty good game. He was pretty good. TJ Ward Chip Banks. Good old Chip Banks leading tackler. So TJ Ward and Jaquel Jackson. Browns with 0 sacks and 0 turnovers.
Wendell, I think they probably had 2 at least with Belichick. If Art Modell doesn't move the Browns, I think that 94 season when they were shaping up, they were going to be so good. I think that year they had
Ogden and Ray Lewis would have been there on their team.
Yeah, and I feel like probably that year, maybe a subsequent year after as well, and then beyond that, it's anybody's guess. But with the way that the Belichick and what the Browns were shaping up to be, they could have set into a very serious serious whatchamacallit, just a really, really good dominant team there that potentially could have won. Dynasty. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Everything that he did in New England, he was building here.
Yep. So all of their success could have been ours. Yeah. Yeah. So if that's the case, I mean, who knows? Maybe he drafts Tom Brady, and maybe Tom Brady wins all those championships in Cleveland instead, and maybe you're looking at like not 8 championships for the Browns, but add another 7 to that. So
yes, and chalk that up as another thing that makes my stomach turn.
Oh yeah,
think about what might have been. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody being on. I know it's a little bit late here for us East Coasters. You guys are the best. Thank you so much to our subscribers. Thanks for running solo for the first half. Appreciate that.
Got it.
And yes, thank you, Keith. I will have a good trip, a little spring break trip across the pond, France and Italy and Ireland. So if we got any Nagy sports fans there, hit me up. Maybe we'll grab a pint or something. That would be pretty fun. But for Kit on the left coast, Phil Nagy in Central Ohio. Kit, anything else you want to say?
Nope, I think we wrapped it up pretty well. Glad to be here. Bear with us as we take a bit of a hiatus here, but looking forward to hopefully the dust settling and moving on from all of this drama.
Absolutely, we do. Today, I guess we'll say go Cowboys. But as always,
go